Hello, Victoria here with Lead from Home, a resource for anyone that is teaching we have resources to help increase engagement, make those connections with your students and parents. After all, they are your consumers, and of course, to create virtual backgrounds that stand out. Today's video is all about the new public speaking course in the VIPKid platform. I do teach with them and I enjoy this course so much. I thought I would take the time to just share a few things that really resonated with me. One, I'm a dynamic person. I love to move around, get involved, and just sometimes I'm pretty laid back. But this course is just so exciting. Public speaking for language learners is all about intonation, creating that connection with their audience. And it's basically what we do. So we're sharing that energy, we're modeling that throughout the lesson. And it's great because each time the whatever the presentation is continues, like say for example they do one run through, then they do another, they do 4 run throughs, and each time you see this growth within the lesson. It is tremendous. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I've only taught a handful and I can't wait because I've got a couple more scheduled. Makes my heart sing. Really? Boom, 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 boom. Yes, it does. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed is that maybe the first read through, they are reading. They're not really memorizing the information. That's okay. We want them to feel comfortable, the flow, the pattern of speech, to change it, to pause when they're supposed to, maybe, teaching them the dynamics of intonation just to get the story told. One of the stories that we have in the curriculum, and I thought this was a great one to share. Okay, so I'm thinking that the name of the story was The Blind Men and the Elephant. Now, if you're familiar with the story, and I was fortunate to be familiar with the story, and I didn't do a whole lot of prep for this. My only preparation that I did was review the vocabulary and the target objectives. I didn't read the story through again because I was familiar with it. My main emphasis was, what am I listening for when the student tries to present? What goals or end outcomes, and how can I help them get there? So that's the only kind of prep that I did, and I did that kind of not really writing anything down. I don't do that, but just mentally preparing for this class. And the story is really great. Think about it. If you're not familiar with it, I encourage you, I strongly encourage you to check it out, because it's an excellent one to really just, it has a great message. The Blind Men and the Elephant describes 3 individuals who are unable to see with their eyes, but they see through touch, smell, and sound, and just their environment, their senses. This is the way they perceive the world, and each one of them touched this item, the elephant, in different ways, and they focused on just that area. And in conversations and in sharing what they discovered by touching and engaging with this animal, they created a new picture of what this animal is. It has big ears, it's just different descriptive terms. And imagine a language learner that is learning this story for the first time. What we want to make sure that they, one, have language comprehension, that they get the same message that we do, that just because we see one viewpoint doesn't mean that it's not true, or maybe somebody else doesn't share that same opinion, doesn't mean that isn't their truth either. These subtle kind of explorations and discoveries that the learner is making and coming to terms with in the class, above the idea of the fundamental goals that we're having, just really, again, made my heart sing. I love storytelling. I love that they get to practice engaging and really delving into some of the stories that we teach our learners here in America. So that is just an example of what I thought was a great way to help learners get to share their skills and get from one point of maybe reading the story to communicating an actual message and feeling the impact. One of the other benefits of this public speaking class is that it shows examples of a kind of a nice presentation or an excerpt, a target behavior that we try to shoot for, maybe pausing or really inflecting to show emotion. And then another kind of straight, not making eye contact, somebody that's looking down and not looking focused. And so they put these images side by side, they're little clips, and it really helps the learner just make that connection. Again, modeled behaviors, and then let's get to it. Let's make that connection and why we're going to make that connection and why it's so important. All right, so that's another benefit to this class, and I really enjoyed it. We made it right on time. Pacing is great. It's a 25-minute class, so if you have the opportunity, I definitely say go for it. Share your experiences down in the description box below, or not the description box, the comment section. Let me know what are your favorite classes to teach. It doesn't have to be with VIPKid. It could be anything. Share one of the things that makes your heart sing when maybe a learner gets that, or that light bulb goes off and makes that connection to the material, whatever it is. I will say that one of the positive correction things that we worked on was always communicating. I tend to communicate with a smile. If I'm going to make a correction, I would explain why. It's part of the coaching. I would model and really help get that student there. Where you are going to see I mean, it happens. It's a language class. You will see pronunciation struggles and things like that. I would say really look at what those overall objectives are and care and help get them to the end result so that there is progress within the lesson. And I'd love to hear about your stories and find out how else we can make these lessons just awesome for the class, for the learner. All right, that's a wrap. I will see you all next time, and happy teaching as always.